Crowhill here. Today we review a Mexican cerveza and ask, do the Democrats want to ever win an election again? Hey, big win. All right, good to see you.
Good evening. How about some beer and conversation?
Oh, that's a fantastic idea. So what are we drinking?
We are drinking a Mexican cerveza.
Okay.
And,
Doesn't cerveza mean beer?
It does, but it's got a little Mexican
twist
that you'll find out about.
All right, fantastic. That sounds good.
So what's on your mind?
Well, I've been wondering, if you wanted to build a national movement.
Yes.
And you were trying to get the support of like most of the people in the country.
Yes.
Yeah. Would you do something like promote broccoli? Or, would you pick something that was
broccoli ice cream?
Yeah, broccoli ice cream. Would you pick something as the foundation of your national movement that like only 20% of the people actually
that most people just
hate?
That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, it would be a very terrible idea.
Yeah.
But I think that's what we're witnessing in real time.
All right. Well, you want to witness this beer?
I do. Yeah. So this is Oscar Blues.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you don't know the name, you probably know Dale's Pale Ale.
Yes.
That's probably the flagship.
Yeah.
And
very pale. This particular one. Salt and lime cerveza.
Yes, and it is both of these things.
Oh, it is. It is. Yeah.
You can get a full face full.
So what's the salty beer is a goes, right?
Yeah.
But this is a salt and lime, so it's in that style, and lots of lime. Lots of lime.
It certainly is. I wouldn't mind that on a pontoon boat. Mm-hmm.
Riding around in the Caribbean or whatever. Right. Yeah, very good. That's actually very interesting.
Can I just pause for a minute here? What would you, in your limited Spanish, what would you assume is going on here? Mas Lima, green and yellow can, and the name of the beer is Mas Lima.
So, mas is like no mas means, what does that mean?
More.
Okay, so more lime? Is that what that is?
You would think that's what it is.
Okay.
But this is a 30-year battle between me and my Mexican wife.
Yeah.
Well, first off, the first thing about limes is once a week I have to hear how expensive limes are.
Okay.
Because basically you just walk out to your neighbor's yard
and grab some
limes are free.
Yeah.
So three for $1. 3 lime. That's it. So that's been going on forever.
Yeah.
So you would say Lima is lime and limon is lemon.
Okay.
Does that seem how the language would work? Does that seem fair enough to it? Do not bring this is a subject you do not want to have with Mrs. Pigweed.
Yeah.
She said she calls them limones.
Okay.
The green ones.
Okay. The green ones.
The green ones. The limones. I said, well, what do you call the yellow ones? She says, we don't have the yellow ones. Nobody has them. Nobody eats them. There's not even a word for them.
Wow.
So what's going on here is if you go to the Royal Academy of Spanish in Madrid,
right?
Lime is Lima and limon is lemon.
Okay.
But if you go to the real world, limes are limones, and a lima is a different type of fruit. It's a green fruit that is actually sweet.
Okay.
So,
what kind of a fruit is it?
I don't know. Never heard. She asked me. I said, "You had a lima?" I said, "I didn't know." I said, "I thought these were limas," holding a lime, and shot daggers out of her eyes. Yeah. Those are limones. I'm like, all right, then what are the yellow ones? Stop asking me that. Nobody has ever seen a yellow one. And so, all right, so this is a subject you don't even want to go down. But what I'm saying is, if you go to the Royal Academy, it's technically correct. But the people at Oscar Blues had not done their research.
They didn't do that.
If it's a Spanish beer,
so it should be Mas Limones.
Mas Limones. But then that's going to kick up another. But That's how they say it in Mexico. And since you're obviously making a Mexican style beer, you should know it. I don't know if they
did they ask a Mexican?
No, they asked an Argentinian who's happened to be working there, and he's like, "Yeah, Lima, that's right." But anyway, so that's your little lime lemon lesson,
cultural lesson, and
yes. And if you try to substitute, oh gosh, that's just happened too, where we've been to a place where she's fully expecting limes, and they bring sliced lemons to the table.
Oh, yeah.
Oh gosh,
sparks fly. Huh?
you don't want to be around for that.
No. Okay.
So anyway, it's a very nice beer, but I wouldn't drink a sixer.
No. But okay, interesting. So I'll have to watch what I say about lemons.
Yes,
and limes.
just if you go with limon, even though you're talking about the green ones, and it sounds like you're talking about the yellow ones, just forget the yellow ones.
I'll just speak English. It'll make it easier. So okay.
So what are we doing here?
Yeah. So what we've run into, we have the situation where the Democratic Party got a spanking in the last election. They lost, not horribly, but they lost. Yeah. And
that's the House, the Senate, the Supreme Court.
But they didn't lose the House as convincingly as I wanted. So I mean, the Trump people want to say it was this great grand. Well, okay, on the presidential level, Trump did beat Harris pretty well. Yeah. But at the House they have a squeaky little margin. Yeah. But anyway, they lost. But so now the question would be, if you're the Democrats and you want to come back from that, you want to say, obviously we did something wrong. Let's try to regain public sentiment. And then what you do is you attach yourself to things that 20% at best of the public cares about.
Yeah. Well, let me correct you here. You said you would ask yourself, what did we do wrong? That's normal people.
Yeah.
No. They didn't do anything wrong. Americans are wrong.
Yeah, the voters are wrong.
And we didn't sell how great our ideas are well enough. Yeah. But we definitely didn't do anything wrong. There will be no changing of approaches. And let's go through some of these winning ideas that that the Democrats believe in while they're getting shellacked. So you're attaching yourself to the 20, such as where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the border and deportations? And
well, trans was stopping.
Well, trans is I like that. I mean, even better.
The vast majority of people know that this trans stuff is complete nonsense.
Sterilizing, castrating children. Yeah. Women in bathrooms, women in gyms and changing rooms. Do a man on the street, and you're going to get 80. Yeah, and they say, "Great, we're going to all 20."
Yeah. So this one is just nuts, and the number of people who want men changing in the bathroom, with their in the locker room with their daughters. That's we say it's 80-20. It's probably more 90-10. I mean, that one's just nuts, and. They've gone full in with it.
Full in. They're willing to fight the federal government. They're willing to because there was a portion that when Trump came in and said, we're addressing this issue, I thought that there would be enough, and your garden variety Democrats probably went, okay, good, because I didn't really want to stick my neck out on this one, but yeah, I get it. But there are plenty of politicians like the, California group and the Maine group and the Illinois group who are really willing to go to the mat
to support this issue.
To at least
have men competing with women in wrestling and running and things where men have a clear advantage.
Taking children away from their fathers for misgendering them.
Right. Yeah.
That's Colorado. But I'm hoping that the federal government can set some tone. But there is more pushback than you would imagine, because these are activists aren't real people.
Yeah.
These are HOA people who need attention, and they're squeaky wheel people, and they're people who are being financially funded by weirdos. So
yeah, so trans to me is like the big one, but there are so many more. There are other areas where Democrats seem to latch onto things that nobody else cares about, and that. Okay, so let's try to steelman this. Let's try to make them seem like heroes for a minute. Maybe they know some brilliant moral reason why they should latch onto this thing that most people are not with. Okay, fine. That's not the way you do politics.
Like, well, even if that's the case, they suck at articulating it because I haven't heard it.
Right. Even if you were to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, they are bravely standing up like the Viking warrior,
the new frontier of human rights.
Yeah, they have now decided that this is the big issue that we need to stand on. Okay, fine. You still need to get people to vote for you.
Exactly. So right. So even if I'm sure there are plenty of people who felt that they hold the moral position, but they at least strategically understand the strategy of winning elections.
Yes.
I don't know. They don't seem to care.
No, they don't seem to care. It's almost like they would rather go down in flames. And okay, fine, go down in flames.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to give away the ending here, but please,
please go down.
Please continue. Right, please continue this.
All right. So trans. What's the next?
I want to do border and deportation and how they have decided that Kilmar Garcia.
Yeah.
That bringing back an MS-13 gang member
he's the hill to die on.
That's the hill to die on. So what's amazing about this, though, is that you have some liberals who understand the thing that you're talking about winning elections, like Bill Maher and James Carville, have been like, can we stop the crazy?
Yeah.
Carville has decided, yes, this is the reasonable guy. This is the hill to die on.
Carville has said that?
Yes.
Really? Wow.
Because are you acting like? Are you kidding me? You think that you're going to use this guy as your symbol of rule of law and due process, which is possible, except for the fact that let me see here. We've got.
This is the Kilmar Garcia. Is the guy in Maryland, lived down the street.
He's the Maryland man.
Right.
The Maryland man.
Yeah.
Who, all right, frankly, there was a deportation stop. So this is the idea of he was Maryland man, legally deported. Mm-hmm. There was a stop on deportation for whatever his reason is, but it clearly didn't have. This clearly before he was defined clearly as a terrorist. Mm-hmm. Well, as an MS-13 gang member, and then since then that gang has been
defined as a terrorist.
So whatever that deportation, non-deportation
decision,
right,
doesn't take into account the fact that
so maybe we have to bring him back and then redefine the terms and then send him back again. Yeah. Right? But really, because we had under Barack Obama, 75% of illegals deported received no due process. Under Bill Clinton,
no. They received due process. They had the wishes of Barack Obama.
That is
and that's all the due process that they needed. It's like whatever Saint Obama decided, that was okay. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No. I'm just the stats are that they don't care about the individual who's a POS. Mm-hmm. They don't care about rule of law or due process. No. They just think maybe we've got a winner here, which just seems a very odd choice to say that this is going to be our winner.
Yeah.
Because they don't care about that. They think that they've got something, because the Democrat Party doesn't really have anything to run on. It's trying to find
They're hunting. They're madly hunting around to find some issue they can latch onto that they think will generate enough support to say, yes, you guys are on the right side, and we support you.
Because the
and what they've chosen is an MS-13 gang member.
Yes.
Yeah.
So hello 80-20.
Yeah. It's very hard to understand why they think this is a winning issue. Like, as if the majority of Americans think that some, question about due process is more important than getting MS-13 gang members out of the country.
Yeah, which there were 12.3 million deportations
under Bill Clinton.
And how many injunctions?
0 injunctions.
George Bush, you had 10 million deportations.
0 injunctions.
Barack Obama, you had 5 million deportations.
0 injunctions.
And Donald Trump has 100,000 deportations.
Well, why is he so slow? But he's got 30 injunctions.
And 30 injunctions stopping him from deporting people. So there's no principle here. The principle is Trump cures cancer.
Yeah.
Do you know that meme? I just invented it.
Okay.
It was a meme. It was a meme that says 2 panels.
Okay.
It says Trump cures cancer, and then there are people protesting, going, "Trump is denying my right to die from cancer."
Or how about this? Trump is putting cancer doctors out of work.
Yes. Right. So it's how whatever Trump does. So I'm going to use this as my umbrella term. Mm-hmm. Whenever I see, you're just saying that because Trump said the other thing.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that here. We're seeing it played out in real time. It's like I'm going to kick out drug gang leaders. What?
How dare you?
And you've seen them read Obama quotes and say that they're Trump. It's genius.
And I've seen plenty of quotes, live action Obama saying exactly the same kinds of things that Donald Trump is saying now.
Yeah. You'll see a montage of from Clinton. You see all of the presidents, including and then Gore and all of them, and then finally you get to Trump saying the same thing, and now it's time to light our hair on fire.
Yeah, it has absolutely nothing to do with principle.
No principle, no policy.
Yeah.
It's
just that they hate Donald Trump. Hey everybody, thanks for listening to Beer and Conversation with Pigweed and Crowhill.
If you like the show, please review, recommend, tell a friend.
If you'd like to write to us at pigweedshow@gmail.com.
And if there's something you'd like to hear us discuss, please let us know, or you can just send us a beer. Right, only Trump could make liberals hate electric cars, love war, and fight to get gang members into the country.
Yes.
Right? I mean, no.
Right.
In normal world,
mm-hmm.
in non-clown world,
mm-hmm.
this is very simple.
Yes.
But in clown world, it's like we're taking the 20 on all of these. Can I give you another 20?
Yeah.
Everybody loves voter ID. Matter of fact, 84% of Americans support voter ID. However, in the recent House bill, what kind of numbers do we have here?
Wow, 98% of Democrats voted against voter ID.
2 people said that, voter ID. And when you look around the world, everybody, countries that you didn't even know had the vote.
You have to show an ID to buy a beer. You have to show an ID. I saw this great video
you can
today.
Think of.
I saw this great video today where they were going through all the things that you have to show an ID to do.
Yeah.
And then
basically walk out of your house, you need an ID.
Actually, this one wasn't voting. This one was I have to show an ID for this, I have to show an ID for that. I need my parents' permission for this, I need my parents' permission for that. But what if I wanted to have radical gender reassignment surgery and have my breasts cut off? No, you don't need your parents for that. It's the same kind of double standard.
In the most bizarre 80-20 kind of a way.
Yeah, like why? No, there are probably...
Are there 20% of people who think castrating a child is a good idea.
No. I'm sorry. I don't care what the polls say. There are not 20% of the people who think it's reasonable to cut the breasts, healthy breasts, off a young girl because she's confused about her gender, her sex, or whatever. No, I'm sorry. There are not 20%. No. There might be 20 people who believe that. But that's what the Democrats have lined themselves up with.
Please.
You keep going.
Please give me more.
Yeah.
Give me more. So, yes, everybody in the world is puzzled by our not having voter ID.
Yeah.
Trump won every state that has voter ID. So maybe that tells you everything that they need to know. It's like, well, how are we going to win if we can't cheat?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Right.
I mean, they might as well just be saying that.
Yes.
Even though their own constituents will be like, well, I don't know. I mean, except for the fact that unless you're saying that black people are too dumb to get an ID, which
they do,
which you're kind of saying.
Yeah. That if you ask a college liberal why is voter ID bad? Yeah, a college white liberal, especially a college white female liberal.
Oh boy,
why should we not have voter ID? They'll say, oh, poor black people don't know how to get an ID. Right,
with no self-awareness.
I know.
At all.
It's like they're so
hear the words coming out of your
racist
mouth.
But yes, it's amazing. Yeah. So we have the Democratic Party lining up against.
There's another
things.
20. Well, this one here is more like a 1090.
Okay,
but no, we're going all in on that one.
What's your next one?
Very good. I would say the DEI stuff.
Oh, sure.
I'm not sure if I don't have the others are definitely 80-20s. I don't know where the average person stands on the DEIs, but it's not too far off.
No.
It could be the fact that, but it's because it's developed itself an industry. That means once you're an industry, you have constituents, you have people making money off of it. Who knows, and you have the brainwashing.
I'm not. This isn't quite DEI, but I do know that it's 70-30 against affirmative action in colleges, in college admissions.
Really? Okay. Well, yeah. No. That's what I'm talking about here. Mm-hmm. This bearing yourself to prioritizing race over merit. It's like, if you read the Civil Rights Act, do you know what non-discrimination means?
Right.
You mean not determining? I mean, and then what are you going to do? It's like, how black do you have to be considered oppressed? And so certain non-whites are oppressed, and the Jews and the Asians. So you're just going to hand pick by what? Based on what? Who gets advantages, which is already legal.
Yeah.
And your average person, even your average Democrats, like, yeah.
And my message to the Democrats is keep doing it.
Please
keep doing it.
More of this.
Yeah, because we need a bigger majority in the House.
Yes.
I say we. I'm not a Republican, but the Republicans need a bigger majority in the House. And please, Democrats, keep doing this stuff. Please push AOC and Bernie Sanders as your champions, because
how about going full Hamas?
Right. Yeah.
Now, these numbers are sad here, but which are not 80-20s. They're frighteningly not 80-20s. Poll post found 46% of respondents sympathize more with Israelis, while 33% with Palestinians. That's pretty tight.
That's not
among
good.
Democrats. Yeah. Support falls to 21% support Israel.
Yeah.
So, this is another.
Part of the problem here,
number wise, it's not that terrible.
Yeah.
But really, so this is like the Bill Maher is like, yes, liberals mean two-state solution, not river to the sea, murder all the Jews.
Yeah.
So that's which is. Okay, so if you're pro-Palestinian in that sense, that they need a proper homeland, which they have demonstrated that they don't deserve, but at least that's a reasonable position.
Yeah.
River to the sea, of course, every college person who's chanting that doesn't know what they're talking about, most likely.
Yeah.
Unless, and if they do, they're calling for genocide of Jews, which... Well, I read somewhere that that's not a good position to hold.
The big problem here is that the information that's being fed to young Democrats about what's actually going on and what the issues are is just a bunch of lies. And like, for example, when the Hamas health ministry reports what the casualties are, the Western media just accepts that and reports it
as reported by
Hamas. Yeah, right. And they accept that and report it. So there's a big problem. They don't make a distinction, for example, between Hamas fighters and civilians. So they'll lump them all together and say, 18,000 civilians were killed, where it was really the majority of them were Hamas fighters. Now, it's still
or Hamas fighters fighting from
inside of a school,
inside of
or
an elementary
hospital,
school,
or something like that. Yeah.
So
the amount of lying by the media about that story is awful. So I can sort of understand to some extent where they're coming from, but still, this is not a winning issue for the Democrats. And do they have one winning issue? Do they have any issue that they're promoting right now that is better than 50%?
That is, or that is pro-American, or that is something, that is better than 50%. I mean,
I got one. I do have one. Abolishing the Electoral College. Apparently, I looked this up. Apparently, a majority are actually for that. Now, that's a stupid idea. I don't want to abolish the Electoral College, but on that one, they actually do have a majority.
Yes, it's a terrible idea, but at least they're following some kind of polling somewhere.
Right.
But they would rather they have decided that anti-Trump is enough of a position.
Yeah.
And I don't think that voters think that.
No.
And
now there is, Trump will try to say that he had this great landslide victory and everybody supports him.
Massive mandate.
And that's not really quite true. But on the issues, Trump has the advantage especially on the things we're talking about.
Yeah.
And the Democrats are picking these losing. Losing side.
But not 55-45 losing.
Right.
I mean, landslide losing.
Right.
And this is
why are they doing
right. So yes, you want to take some 45-55s. I'm okay with that. But what are you doing out there? And they didn't care about Maui. They didn't care about North Carolina. They didn't care about Florida. But boy, an illegal immigrant gang member, a single person.
Right.
Wow, now we're going to fly out, fly congressmen on taxpayer dollars to, remember the actual constituent, an actual Maryland resident who was murdered by an illegal immigrant? Did Van Hollen have anything to say about that? He is a POS. I thought that Jamie Raskin was the worst piece of garbage coming out of Maryland. He's right there with him. He sucks. But
there's another congressman who went down to El Salvador and said that she's not going to leave El Salvador until this guy's released.
I saw somebody say no. When 6 of them went down there, why didn't they call like an emergency vote on some borderline vote issue, and then go like, well, I mean, we were going to lose this by 2 votes, but since these 6 are in El Salvador, we win. Wouldn't that have been genius?
That would have been smart. Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
I'm sure there's some parliamentary way to get around that. But yeah, why don't all the Democrats go down to El Salvador until this guy gets released?
Yes.
That would be fine.
Just stay there and drink your margaritas. All right. Well, we're good here. And I would say yes. Like you said, please more of this. Oh, 2000. The recent poll says that AOC is the 2028 front runner.
Good.
Are you teasing me?
So
why are you trying to get me aroused?
I've never heard AOC say anything that sounded, like better than an IQ of about 95.
And you see somebody on the street who you say, "What do you think about AOC?" Oh my God, that's a great idea. What is your favorite thing about?
Maybe that little video where she's dancing on the top of the building.
And you get that all the time when they feel like they've got a friendly interviewer. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that would be great. So what is the thing that you dislike most about Trump? well, he's a jerk.
He's a Nazi.
Yeah. And just like that. So, here, what was the best thing that Kamala Harris's best moment as vice president? So yes, more of that. I want more Jasmine Crockett. I want to see Jasmine Crockett out there all day, every day.
More Bernie.
Yeah. And yes, this will be your party because you want to be young, fresh-faced. Well, there you've got Jasmine and AOC to lead the way.
They're both young.
And please more of this.
Yes. Yeah, keep going for the 20%, Democrats.
Keep going for the 20%.
Please, and then we'll see a nice midterm election.
That is going to be great. Now, we generally, our man of the week tends not to have anything to do with the topic at hand.
Usually,
this time it is. And I would like to acknowledge the PNC show for being out. Well, we're out in front of everything, by the way. Sometimes I wonder
if everybody else is listening in on our shows. Yeah.
I mean, did we talked about Javier in Argentina before anybody heard of him?
Yeah.
Viktor Orban in Hungary before anybody heard of him, and our man Bukele in El Salvador. We did a show on El Salvador years ago saying this guy is crushing it. Now everybody knows who he is. Well, he is also our man of the week.
Okay.
So when Van Hollen went down there to check to make sure he wasn't that the Maryland man wasn't being tortured daily.
Yeah.
And he came out pudgy, kind of. Nice clothes on, looking pretty good.
Okay.
He sat down and for this photo op interview, and Bukele made sure that they had fake margaritas.
Why fake?
You don't want to treat them to anything.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Probably against the law to give a prisoner a margarita.
No. Yeah. This is grade A level trolling. We're not trying to provide anything except for the photo op that you came down here for. We want to see you. Why don't you guys kiss? Basically, is what he said.
Right.
And so they brought out two fake margaritas with a cherry on top, which margaritas don't even have, but it just makes it so sweet, just to make it a romantic moment, a romantic photo op.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I saw some going, "That's so fake. This is what liars do." Like. The left doesn't understand trolling. They don't understand memes. You would think that's right there, the artsy creative bunch. They suck at both of it. All they have is lashing and anger. So Bukele's decision to create the photo up that they wanted. Let's just make it a little sexy, and put out two fake margaritas. Is why he is my man of the week.
Bukele should be man of the week most of the time.
He's pretty good. Most of the yes. Yeah, I don't want to overload the man of the weeks, but this guy is killing it.
Now, before we call it quits,
yes,
we did have a listener write in and say, "How come you guys didn't acknowledge that you went past a significant milestone in your shows?"
Have we now?
We're past 500.
Okay.
And we didn't even acknowledge it at all.
No, well, that's a shame.
It's a shame because also it's really not 500.
No, the numbers are way off.
The numbers are wrong. It's probably more like 600. But anyway, still, we should still say cheers to 500.
What is that? Our quincentennial
something,
or something like that.
All right, so 500.
To us.
Yep.
Cheers.
Thanks so much for listening to Beer and Conversation with Pigweed and Crowhill. Remember to visit us at pigweedandcrowhill.com or send us an email at pigweedshow@gmail.com.